remember this show being particularly good. Was it though? Let's find out. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. It's another episode of 10 years ago. Oh yes, and tonight, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be looking at ECW One Night Stand 2005. Back in 2004, the WWE brought out a DVD. It's particularly good DVD at that. It's called The Rise and Fall of ECW. It is, to this day, a genuinely good watch. One of the best DVDs that WWE ever made, in my opinion. What made it particularly good for me is not just the interviews and the in-depth and all that and the matches they put on it and all that stuff. For me, the DVD of it had Easter eggs all freaking over it. If you go into the menu screens and just click left or right, you'll find loads of random stuff. There's promos and all sorts in there that you're like, I hadn't noticed that. That I think is particularly brilliant. So, yeah, Rob Van Dam pitches to Vince McMahon, hey, why don't we have an ECW reunion show? And Vince is fully up for the idea. Paul Heyman's giving the booking freedom to basically do it however he wants to do it. But loads of people who aren't contracted to WWE at this moment in time are brought in and are allowed to perform. Fan-dabby dozy. So it is June the 12th, 2005, and 2,500 fans have paid a small fortune to be here at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. Joey Styles is the first person on our screens. He looks like he's meant to be crying, the lips going, but there's no tears. Does that make sense? He brings out his colour commentator, who is Mick Foley, who is he comes out with Cactus Jack theme music, and he looks a lot thinner than I remember him being at this time. A word of note is at 325,000 buys, or 1,000 buys for this, a pretty decent number. I should also probably point out before we go on that there was another ECW reunion show the night before this one, or it might have been 2 nights before, I forget, called Hardcore Homecoming. This one was put on by Shane Douglas, featured a load of guys who, well, so some of them worked this one, like Mick and Joey Styles. There's people like Cronus and Terry Funk who worked that one exclusively. They did a rematch of the night the line was crossed, didn't they? It was Shane Douglas versus Sabu versus Terry Funk, if I remember rightly. So, our opening contest is Lance Storm defeating Chris Jericho in a good match. The commentators make a point of saying that this is Lance Storm. Lance Storm has said that this will be his last ever match, and it was his last WWE match. Not his last ever match. I saw him last year live at PCW. But it remains his last ever WWE match. Nice of them to show clips of the Impact players. I like little things like this so you can see, if you've never seen or you never saw ECW, you can see that this was this guy and he was in this tag team and they did this move. Fucking great. Also nice to see Jericho rocking the Lionheart attire. We like that. So as you can probably imagine from these two guys, beautiful chain wrestling from both men, as you would expect. The fans are too busy chanting "She's a crack whore" at Dawn Marie, who is out with Lance Storm, to notice a perfect bow and arrow lock by Jericho. Foley gets bonus points for knowing his history and talking about the Thrill Seekers team, which is fucking great. Styles gets some pointing out that they have mats around the ring. He says that back in ECW we didn't have mats around the ring. We only got mats around the ring because we've been forced to have them. That's a nice little touch. Storm gets 2 off an absolutely spot-on dropkick and follows with a delayed suplex. He tries to dive off the top with a back elbow but eats a dropkick in mid-air. They do a pinfall sequence as the fans quite randomly shout Chris Candido. Nice little touch. There, the pinfall sequence leads to a motherfucking tiger suplex. There is 1 star right there. As you know, it is in the 3 with the tiger suplex, dragon suplex, reverse rana. It is the greatest of the 3. Sorry, it is in one of the. It's one of the 3 greatest moves there ever is, and that gets a star for that one. It gets 2, by the way, if anyone's wondering. Cradle power driver is countered, so Lance can get a great super kick for 2. Jericho gets 2 off an elbow off the top. Lance gets a Calgary crab. Jericho reverses World War's attempt, which is countered, so Jericho gets the bulldog. A lion salt finds knees, but Jericho no-sells the shit out of it and puts the walls of Jericho on anyway. Justin Credible and Jason come out, they get involved. Credible cracking Jericho with a motherfucking evil kendo stick shot right to the face so that Lance can get the win. This was 7 minutes and 22 seconds, so it was short, but it was fun. The ending wasn't great, but it's one of those, meh, I don't care. I've got no problem with the Impact players and all that stuff, so I've got no problem with that. 3 stars for me. Loved it. All good stuff. Styles points to the empty skybox. Sure, nothing will come from this empty skybox that's just empty and they're pointing it out for reasons. And then Pitbull Gary Wolf introduces before he introduces a video packet, he says that tonight has already gone to the extreme. We had one match and it was all technical apart from the kendo stick. Yeah. Real hardcore, Gary. Yeah, they show a video of a few of the ECW guys who have passed on in the last few years, and it's one of those. It's bittersweet because it's one of those. I don't know why they've put. I mean, Crash Holly being in there, who wrestled 3-4 matches in ECW, and you're just like going, okay, that's a strange one. There's some quite big names missing as well from that list. Anyway, Super Crazy defeating Tajiri and Little Guido in a meh 3-way dance. So the three guys between them have. Sorry, 3 guys, but between Tajiri and Little Guido, they have 6 extra guys. So Tajiri has Mikey Whipwreck and the Sinister Minister with him, and yes, I almost did say Mikey Whiplash, yes I did. While Guido has Tracy Smothers, Tony Marmaluke, Big Guido, and JT Smith. Super Crazy clearly hasn't got any mates, is what it says on my notes here. Lots of spots! Can you believe it? In a 3-way, lots of spots. A tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Crazy. Guido gets an armbar broken by Crazy with a moonsault. Crazy dropkicks Guido's face nicely. Marmaluke trips Crazy up so he can get a Sicilian slice by Guido. Into the crowd, obviously, where Crazy climbs up a balcony and moonsaults off it, complete with the "Oh, Dios míos" chant. They call from Joey Styles, which I love. Back inside, a Tarantula gets by Crazy. Crazy gets 10 punches. Sorry, by Tajiri. By Crazy. That'd be madness, wouldn't it? Crazy. It's because I've just got the spots. I haven't actually. There's no story to this match whatsoever. It's just spots. Spots. So I've just got a list of spots. Good stuff. Crazy gets 10 punches and the fans count along in Spanish, which I love. FBI post Crazy, doesn't play, bit annoying. Big Guido picks up Tajiri in a powerbomb position, but he's able to blow green mist into Guido's eyes, and then Mikey can hit a whippersnapper off the top, which eliminates Guido. Crazy gets a moonsault, Tajiri gets 2 off a sweet DT. Crazy gets 2 moonsaults, but Whipwreck blocks a third. Powerbomb for Tajiri, and 1 last moonsault puts Dodgers away at, get this, and this is the big issue I have with this match. Guess how long this one goes, right? Now bear in mind I said it was a meh match, so with all those spots you're in, how can it have been a meh match? Yeah, 6 minutes. 6 minutes and 12 seconds, which is way too short, guys. Way too short. It was so fast that you couldn't keep up with it, is my opinion, which is not a good thing. There was also, of course, no selling whatsoever. It was just spots, and the thing is, the spots were all right, yeah, but, and this is the big one, the only one you will take away from this one, the only one you will take away from this match, is the moonsault off the balcony. It's the only one. So start off. We get a highlight video of ECW moments, and then Rey Mysterio defeated Psicosis in another meh match. Psicosis takes his mask off before the bell. Now I know I'm not the proverbial oil painting, but damn, Psicosis is one ugly man. Rey comes out in his Fed mask and his Fed music. Wait a way to get over there, lad. Wait away. Put your mask on chants directed at Psicosis. He gets a nice facebuster and a guillotine leg drop off the top rope to the outside, drawing a holy shit chant. Rey gets a nice sit-out facebuster and a huge seated senton off the top rope into the crowd. 619 to big Bruce. West Coast Pop gets the win, and get this one, it's exactly the same at 6 minutes at 22 seconds. Like watching a good WWE Cruiserweight match, e.g. a meh match with a few good spots in it. It's probably better than your generic WWE Cruiserweight match, but it's so pissing short. It's so short. They're just getting started. This match needed, as did the last one, a good 4, 5, 6 minutes just to let it breathe a little bit. The importance of selling I stress so often, but come on. I know it's a reunion show and it's all about the feel good for the fans, and we'll talk about that at the end hopefully, but it's too short. It is just too shit. Holy shit, here's the lads. There's the SmackDown lads. JBL, Kurt Angle, Orlando Jordan, the Bashams, Carlito, and of course, it wouldn't be SmackDown without Matt Morgan, would it? No. After another ECW highlights vid, Joel Gertner appears in the skybox, but Angle and especially JBL quickly get rid of him. Angle gets on the mic. The fans chant "You suck dick" at him. Angle, the genius that he is, replies with "Your mother taught me how," essentially admitting that yes, Kurt Angle does suck cock. If my mother taught him how to suck cock, I'd feel sorry for him, to be honest. Sorry, that's a terrible joke. sorry, Mum. I'm sorry if you're watching this. Might cut that bit out. Angle runs down ECW, as does JBL. Fans chant, shut the fuck up at him. He runs down the fans until RVD makes the save. He cuts a blistering promo where he trashes Creative for taking his voice. He talks about his run as TV champion. He talks about how missing this hurt more than missing WrestleMania. And then, out of nowhere, Rhyno appears and gores the fuck out of RVD. Just need to, as a sideline, RVD's been out with a leg injury for months, okay? He lays in the beats to the injured leg until the lights go out. When they come back on, Sabu's in the ring and we have an impromptu match, an ECW speciality. Sabu defeating Rhyno in another meh match. For goodness sake. Belly to belly suplex by Rhyno as the fans chant, "You got fired" at him, which is fucking great. I think it was the WrestleMania post show. Yeah, it was. WrestleMania post show. Rhyno has an argument with his wife at the time. God, I'm sorry, I've written nothing here other than fans saying "you got fired" at him, so I'm just trying to remember why it was. If I remember rightly, a plant pot was thrown, Rhyno got fired for that. Well done, lad. Sabu knocks him to the outside with a chair shot and follows with a dive to the outside. A table is set up in the ring. Sabu gets a Rana and a guillotine leg drop, and then air Sabu. Rhyno falls throat first onto the top of a chair, and then Sabu wants a triple jump moonsault, but eats a face full of chair, which is nice for him. TKO onto the chair gets 2 for Rhyno, and it does look good. Inverted powerbomb by Rhyno. But the referee eats the gore. Power drive by Rhyno, but here's RVD. He super kicks a chair into Rhino's face, and then in a really reckless, stupid, unnecessary moment, hits a banned Terminator with his injured leg, and it's he sets up a table, puts Rhyno on it, and then Sabu gets the Arabian facebuster through the table for the win at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Sabu didn't botch anything. We will give him lots of credit for that. But again, 3 matches in a row, way too short. I liked RVD helping, as of course RVD and Sabu were tag team partners for a long time. There was nothing bad about this match. It was just too short and it was nothing special. If you want to go a 1.5 stars, which I'm going to do because I've got 1 star written down, so it's probably better than that. But yeah, 1.5 stars. We're allowed to make it up as we go along, aren't we? In the back, Al Snow argues with Head, and then we get another ECW highlights vid. And then Paul Heyman, the highlight of the vid, and this is something that's been bothering me for years, as you all know. I've said it so many times on these fucking vids. Paul Heyman shouts out, it's when they did the Raw invasion, ECW is in the And being the British man that I am, I don't know what that means, because we don't say to people, "Marc P's in the ha!" Because every Brit around me will go, "What the fuck's he talking about? What's a ha?" Holy shit! Here's the Raw guys. Bischoff, Edge, Coach, Rob Conway, William Regal, and Gene Snitsky. Some fan spits beer in Bischoff's face as he comes past him. Makes me smile. Chris Benoit defeating Eddie Guerrero in an okay match is our next one. Before the bell goes, you can tell that something's very, very wrong here. There's something very, very wrong. These two have had an argument 2 seconds before one of them goes to the bell. They are looking daggers at each other. It's like I said before. Deepas Andrade gets a Lita's got herpes chance because of reasons. Now I understand that Edge is out there, but concentrate on the match, you weird fans. How's that sound? Eddie bails to compose himself. Benoit shoots daggers at him. Eddie's on the outside. And Benoit is just glaring at him. Doesn't take his eyes off Eddie the whole time. They have a chop battle. It's quite stiff, as you can probably imagine, with 2 people who've had an argument. Eddie stomps the face and puts on a chin lock, because he's a heel now, don't forget. The bridge of Eddie's nose is somehow busted open. Benoit gets out of the chin lock with a belly to back suplex. Back to the chin lock, as the fans chant, "Fuck you, Bischoff." Because of reasons, I don't understand this at all. I do understand that Bischoff is in the skybox, and is an obvious target. But you've got 2 world-class athletes putting on a technical masterpiece in the ring, and all you're looking at is like the ring's here, and all you're doing is this. I'd be so mad. If you think about it, you're already in a bad mood if you're Eddie, for example. You're already in a terrible Tower of Inferno rage, and you've got these idiot marks chanting at Bischoff, who shouldn't be there to begin with. It's our show. It's the ECW. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Benoit escapes with a blind charge, puts him on the outside, and we brawl, including a stiff chair shot to the back. Inside, we go up top where Eddie gets a superplex. Frog splash by Eddie misses, allowing Benoit to come back with chops, Northern Light suplex for 2, and a superplex of his own for 2. Rolling Germans leads to the diving headbutt that gets 2, and then the crossface gets the win at 10 minutes and 37 seconds. This match was strange because the crowd were really, really weird and not particularly into it. At the end of the day, we've seen these two guys fight a lot, so there was nothing we haven't seen before. It was just a generic match. I've gone 2 stars. I think that might be underrating it just a little tiny bit, so again, we'll add on. My ratings just don't seem very fair for this one, do they? But yeah, we'll add on half a star to it, but it can't go higher than 3, surely. Joel Gertner's back. He asked Eric Bischoff for a job. Eazy-E turns him down. Next, match of the night. I hate myself for thinking it's match of the night, truly, because everything about this match was what I don't like about wrestling, and ECW especially, but I loved it. I sat there marking out so much for this, and I've seen this show so many times. Mike Awesome defeating Masano Tanaka in a good match. Raw guys turn their backs on Mike Awesome when he comes out for reasons. Styles, oh man, I'm sure you will remember this one. Styles starts shooting on Mike Awesome as soon as this match starts, for the way that Mike Awesome jumped to WCW while still being the ECW champion, talking about the contract, talking about a lot of stuff that he probably shouldn't talk about, and he's obviously still quite bitter about all this. Awesome gets a belly-to-belly suplex, but is dumped to the outside. He gets a springboard shoulder tackle, but then Awesome gets a suicide dive, and Styles remarks it's a shame he didn't succeed at taking his own life. Obviously, there is no way that Styles could have known that Mike Awesome would kill himself in 2007, but even so, as a commentator, I would never have dreamt of ever saying anything like that. Because it's just not cool, is it? It's just one of those... It's that sort of reaction, isn't it? As soon as you hear it. Anyway, into the crowd, where Awesome hits a vicious chair shot and is bounced off the rail. Awesome sets up a table on the outside and then hits a fucking sick Awesome bomb off the apron through the table. This is a cringe-worthy bump because he gets him up the Awesome bomb on the apron and just launches him. And the way that he could, even Mick Foley says, look, there's a way of coming through a table where it's not too bad. That wasn't it. It's fucking nasty. He follows with a big splash for 2. Obviously, because why would that get the win? Powerbomb by Awesome. He gets a chair, and he damn does he use it. 3 sick chair shots come, and I hate all of them, and I mark out for every single one of them. Cannot stand unprotected chair shots. Really, really don't like them. Here, marked out like a cunt, because it was 10 years ago. Diamond, that's an awful, awful explanation, isn't it? Diamond Dust by Tanaka, followed by a tornado DDT onto a pile of chairs that gets 2. Tanaka drops a chair onto the face off the top rope for another. Awesome comes back with a German and a spear, and then another ridiculous chair shot. He gets the table, he gets the comms mock his former gimmicks, which is fucking brilliant. I really liked that bit. I loved it. I loved it. I love it when Foley calls him the former that 70s guy, and Styles quick as a flash goes, wasn't he a fat chick thriller at one point? I was like, it's gold. See, mock him like that, no problem at all. No problem at all. A stunning tornado DT through a table gets 2 for Tanaka. Awesome bomb off the top is legit scary. It's because there's so little left of the table. One of the legs is sticking up, and Tanaka's head just misses the table leg. If he'd come down just a couple of centimeters or a couple of inches to the right, he would have landed on the back of his head on the top of the leg of the table, which probably would have gone through his skull the way how he came down with that much force off the Awesome bomb. It gets 2, by the way. Another table is set up, this time on the outside, and a fucking Awesome bomb through the fucking table, followed by a springboard splash, gets the win for Awesome at 9 minutes 52 seconds. This was, and I'll say this every time, everything I don't like about wrestling. There is no selling whatsoever. There's all these big spots that are happening for no reason other than to get a pop. Yada, 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 yada. You know, everything you can think of why Mark P doesn't like things that Mark P doesn't like about wrestling. Put them into one match, and this is it. I marked out like a little kid for this match. I genuinely thought it was good. Big moves, silly chair shots that make you cringe, and it's match of the night at 3.5 stars. How's that one sound? Now then, next out, Paul Heyman comes out. There are no words that I can say to describe how good this promo that he cuts are. It's one of those things where it's on the network, obviously, because the whole show is, and it's on YouTube, and it's on various other places. Just go watch it. I've got 2, right, do you want to know my notes for the Paul Heyman shoot? It goes like this. These are exact words. Paul Heyman shoot. No words I can say can describe how fucking great this is. It's online, go watch it if you haven't. The bit where he runs down JBL is one of my absolute favourite things of all the times. The only reason you were champion for a year is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays. Fucking great. Fucking great. It's one of those, yeah, get out of that one, dickhead. So, our main event is the Dudley Boyz defeating the Sandman and Tommy Dreamer in a main event. Obviously, Sandman's theme, because I'm watching this on the network, is awful. Actually, no, this is the thing, right? It's not an awful song. As an actual tune, it's alright. It's actually quite catchy. I found myself humming it when it went around the second time, which is strange. But it's not Enter Sandman. You all guys all know. When it comes to music, I'm a genuinely massive drum and bass trance fan, that sort of thing. Yeah, I like electronic music. I like a lot of old rock as well, though. And in my opinion, the Black Album by Metallica is one of my absolute favourite albums. It's a go-to album. I've got it in my car on my memory stick. It's one of those, like, I'm stuck in traffic and I want something to rage to. Let's put that on, shall we? Oh, and Sandman's absolutely shit-faced as well, which is the fun times. Before the match can start, though, out come the BWO, and they are taking over, as they do. Brawl breaks out, but here's Kid Cash, Balls Mahoney, and Axel Rodden. They come out and they destroy the BWO. Chair shots for Big Bad Nova, and then they all end up on the outside where Cash hits a fucking brilliant suicide somersault dive onto them all. Anyway, the match. Bubba gets a big back suplex, and that's enough of that wrestling shit, isn't it? Dreamer takes some weapon shots, including a cheese grater, which busts him open. Bubba goes up top and hits a top rope, goes for and hits a top rope nothing. Sandman in with a ladder. He gives it to Dreamer so he can do his Terry Funk spinny ladder spot. Sandman is drop toe holded. Is that the way of putting it? I always write that. Drop toe holded. Drop toe holds. Sandman drop toe holds Devon onto the trash can. That works, doesn't it? Bubba is bleeding now, so after a shot from the outside, he drops Dreamer bollock first onto the rail, while Sandman gets a swanton onto the ladder onto Devon. Bubba hits a monster chair shot, and now that everyone is busting open, it's all good. Bubba gets a frog splash onto the ladder with Sandman on it for 2. Devon accidentally canes the head of Bubba and then eats a white Russian leg sweep. Stereo figure 4 leg locks. In a match like this, I just don't get it. I just do not understand that at all. Impact players come out. They've got some barbed wire, and that's incredible, by just incredible, on the barbed wire for Sandman. Francine out. She kicks Dreamer in the balls, which of course brings Beulah McGillicuddy out for a coffee! Coffee! That hurts. How did he do that all the time? Heel miscommunication by the players. Dreamer and Beulah hug, which is fucking nasty. Because at this point, Dreamer has got the proverbial crimson mask. And it's one of those, it's a good thing you guys are married, isn't it? Because they have a proper hug. Then, and oh man, this is one of those spots that could have been so good and wasn't. Tommy and Beulah, husband and wife, hit stereo DDTs on the Dudley Boyz. And like I say, if they just done it in time, it would have been great. But Bubba, who was being DDT'd by Beulah, goes down too fast. It's Bubba's fault, I think. So it just looks a mess, unfortunately. Oh man, it's A+ for trying though. I mean, Jesus Christ. Dreamer smashes his sheet into Devon's balls, but it's a kendo stick shot. Table is set up, which Sandman goes through for 2. 3D for Dreamer, no cover though, as Bubba gets out another tables and the fans chant for fire, you cunty smarky cunt. Spike Dudley comes out with lighter fluid. That's convenient, isn't it? What would they have done if it hadn't been for the fire? The table is set alight. Dreamer is powerbombed through it, and that gets the win at 10 minutes and 52 seconds. And unfortunately, I really enjoyed this. Of course, it was overbooked to fuck, but it was fun, and again, this felt like a proper ECW main event, alright? But wait, there's way more, because here's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Wasn't expecting this one. It's time for a beer bash, but wait! Austin calls out the Raw and SmackDown guys, and they line up. So they come out, they've got all the ECW guys, the entire ECW roster, you've got the Raw guys, you've got the SmackDown guys, and then Taz comes out, which is fucking great. And you know how this one goes down. There's a big brawl that the ECW guys are always going to win. But there's one bit that stands out more than anything else, and that is the look that's got on JBL's face when he gets into the ring, because he's got one mission and one mission only, and that is to batter the Blue Meanie. Absolutely demolish him, and he does, busting him open and all that shit. And then Eric Bischoff and doing commentary So Stone Cold makes Bischoff get back into the ring. So Mick Foley drags him back to the ring, and he takes various finishes, and then they say, what do you think of that, Eric? And he says, fuck ECW on the mic, eats a stunner, and that is what closes the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a genuinely hard show to rate. One of the hardest I've had to rate, to be honest, because in the ring, it's okay. A couple of matches cracked the 3-star match window. Nothing fell into the dud category, which is a good thing. Those two shoe promos really do make the show special. The Paul Heyman one especially. The RVD one's good because you get to see that he actually has got a personality instead of just going cool, yeah, whatever sort of thing. That's great. It's a fun show to watch. The crowd are amazing all the way through. Well, then they're not. That in the Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit match, they're just plain weird. Is the best way I can describe it. It felt like an ECW show. It's fun to watch. I watched this in one sitting the other night. Most of the time, I'll watch 2-3 matches tops, and then I'll go and do something else in my time. I haven't got the concentration factor when it's a tricky one to explain that one. That can wait for another time. But well, you know how long it takes me to do vids at the best times, don't you? But yeah, this I watched in one go, all 2.5 hours of it, one sitting, bash, done, happy days. Really enjoyed it. It's a 7 out of 10. I think that sort of one. It's not as good as I remember it, is the best way of saying it. I remember this show being fucking perfect. I remember it being like a 10 out of 10 show, and just watching it a decade removed, you sat there going, yeah, it's good, but it's not great. What did you think, ladies and gentlemen? Am I seriously underrating this show? Ladies and gentlemen, you tell me down below what you thought. Alright folks, I've been Mark P. As always, I would love it if you could hit that subscribe button. It would make my day. Leave me a comment down below. Am I underrating it? Am I overrating it? What are your memories of this show? Check me out on Facebook and on Twitter as always, and I have been Mark P. Next up we'll do some TNA. I've been Mark P. I've said that 4 times now. One more time. I've been Mark P. Take it easy, guys.